Welcome to my humble abode of historical inquiry, dear listeners, where the threads of time are woven into the tapestry of human understanding. I am Herodotus, your guide through the realms of the past, and today we embark on a fascinating journey through the epoch known as the Age of Enlightenment. This period, which unfolded from the late 17th to the early 19th century, was a transformative era, marked by an insatiable pursuit of knowledge, reason, and individual liberty. As we delve into the origins of this pivotal era, let us first set our gaze upon the mid-17th century, when the seeds of Enlightenment thinking were initially sown. It was during this time that scholars like René Descartes, who lived from 1596 to 1650, began to challenge traditional authority and lay the groundwork for a more rational and empirical approach to knowledge. In his seminal work, Meditations on First Philosophy, published in 1641, Descartes famously declared, "I think, therefore I am establishing the foundation for a new era of philosophical inquiry." The historical context of the Age of Enlightenment was marked by a complex interplay between religious, scientific, and philosophical developments. The Protestant Reformation, which had begun in the early 16th century, had challenged the authority of the Catholic Church, paving the way for a more nuanced understanding of faith and reason. Meanwhile, the scientific revolution, led by figures like Galileo Galilei and Francis Bacon, was transforming our understanding of the natural world. The year 1632, for instance, saw Galileo's publication of Dialogue concerning the two chief world systems, which boldly challenged geocentric models of the universe, sparking intense debate and laying groundwork for future scientific inquiry. One of the key centers of intellectual ferment during this period was the city of Paris, where scholars and thinkers like Pierre Bayle and Bernard Le Bovier de Fontenelle were actively engaged in debates about the nature of knowledge and reality. The famous Café Procope, which opened its doors in 1686, served as a hub for these discussions, attracting some of the most brilliant minds of the time. It was within the walls of such establishments that the seeds of Enlightenment thought germinated, nurtured by the fervent exchange of ideas among its patrons. The intellectual currents of the Age of Enlightenment were also significantly influenced by the works of ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, whose texts were being rediscovered and translated during this period. Scholars like Jacques Benin and Bossuet, who served as the Bishop of Meaux, were meticulously studying and translating these classical texts, which played a crucial role in shaping the intellectual currents of the Age of Enlightenment. For example, the rediscovery of Aristotle's works, particularly his Posterior Analytics, had a profound impact on the development of scientific methodology during this era. As we explore the earliest history of the Age of Enlightenment, it becomes clear that this was also a time of great cultural and artistic innovation. The period saw the emergence of renowned writers like Molière and Racine, who were pushing the boundaries of literary expression with works such as Tartuffe and Phèdre. The visual arts were also flourishing, with artists like Nicolas Poussin and Charles Le Brun creating works that reflected the intellectual and philosophical currents of the time. Their brushstrokes not only captured the beauty of the natural world, but also conveyed the deeper themes of human existence, morality, and the pursuit of knowledge. Institutions like the Royal Society in London, founded in 1660, and the Académie des Sciences in Paris, established in 1666, provided a platform for scientists and scholars to share their findings and collaborate on groundbreaking research. The establishment of these institutions marked a significant turning point in the development of modern science and paved the way for the major breakthroughs that would come to define the Age of Enlightenment. As we reach the end of this initial foray into the earliest history of the Age of Enlightenment, dear listeners, we have set the stage for the emergence of a new era in human history, one marked by an unwavering pursuit of knowledge, reason, and individual liberty. Welcome back to our journey through the Age of Enlightenment as we delve into the heart of this transformative period. Having explored the origins and earliest developments of this era, we now find ourselves in the midst of a maelstrom of intellectual, cultural, and scientific innovation that would forever change the fabric of human society. As we enter the 18th century, the landscape of Enlightenment thought is becoming increasingly diverse and complex. Thinkers like Isaac Newton, whose groundbreaking work, Philosophia Naturalis Principia Mathematica, was published in 1687, have laid the foundation for a new understanding of the natural world. Newton's laws of motion and universal gravitation not only revolutionized physics, but also inspired a generation of scientists to pursue empirical research and experimentation. One of the key figures of this era is John Locke, whose influential works on philosophy, particularly Essay Concerning Human Understanding, published in 1689, have had a profound impact on the development of Enlightenment thought. Locke's emphasis on the role of experience and reason in shaping human knowledge has resonated with scholars across Europe, fostering a culture of critical inquiry and intellectual curiosity. Meanwhile, the French philosopher Voltaire, born François-Marie Arouet, is rising to prominence as a champion of reason, tolerance, and freedom of speech. Through his writings, including the satirical novel Candide published in 1759, Voltaire critiques the excesses of the Catholic Church and advocates for a more secular and rational approach to governance. The city of Paris remains a hub of intellectual ferment, with salons like those hosted by Madame Geoffrin and Madame du Deffand providing a platform for lively debates and discussions among the era's most brilliant minds. These gatherings, which often feature thinkers like Denis Diderot, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Immanuel Kant, facilitate the exchange of ideas across disciplines and foster a sense of community among Enlightenment scholars. The arts are also flourishing during this period, with writers like Molière, Racine, and Pierre de Marivaux pushing the boundaries of literary expression. The visual arts are equally vibrant, as artists like Jean-Honoré Fragonard, François Boucher, and Jacques-Louis David create works that reflect the intellectual and philosophical currents of the time. Institutions like the University of Göttingen in Germany, founded in 1734, and the Edinburgh Royal Society in Scotland, established in 1783, are emerging as centers of learning and intellectual inquiry. These organizations provide a framework for scholars to share their research, collaborate on projects, and disseminate knowledge to a broader audience. As we navigate this rich tapestry of Enlightenment thought, it becomes clear that this era is marked by an unwavering commitment to reason, intellectual curiosity, and the pursuit of knowledge. The thinkers and innovators of this time are laying the groundwork for a new era of human history, one characterized by unprecedented scientific, cultural, and philosophical advancements. Welcome back to our journey through the Age of Enlightenment, as we now delve into the later developments and eventual decline of this transformative period. As the 18th century draws to a close, the intellectual, cultural, and scientific advancements that have come to define the Age of Enlightenment are facing new challenges and criticisms. One of the key figures of this late period is Adam Smith, whose influential work The Wealth of Nations was published in 1776. Smith's concept of the invisible hand and his advocacy for free market economics would have a profound impact on the development of modern capitalism. However, his ideas also sparked intense debates about the role of government in regulating economic activity and the social consequences of unchecked industrialization. Immanuel Kant, another prominent thinker of this era, is grappling with the implications of Enlightenment thought on morality and ethics. In his groundbreaking work, Critique of Practical Reason, published in 1788, Kant argues that moral principles should be based on reason rather than emotion or tradition. His ideas would have a lasting influence on the development of ethical theory and continue to shape philosophical debates to this day. Meanwhile, Mary Wollstonecraft, a pioneering feminist thinker, is challenging the social conventions and patriarchal norms that have long been entrenched in European society. In her seminal work, A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, published in 1792, Wollstonecraft argues that women are entitled to the same rights and opportunities as men, including access to education and economic independence. Her ideas would inspire generations of feminist thinkers and activists. As the Age of Enlightenment draws to a close, the French Revolution is unfolding with far-reaching consequences for European politics and society. The Revolution's emphasis on liberty, equality, and fraternity reflects the core values of Enlightenment thought, but its violent excesses and eventual descent into tyranny also raise profound questions about the limits and dangers of radical social change. The late 18th century also sees a growing reaction against Enlightenment values, as critics argue that the era's emphasis on reason and individualism has led to social fragmentation, moral decay, and a decline in traditional authority. Thinkers like Edmund Burke, who published Reflections on the Revolution in France in 1790, are warning about the dangers of unchecked radicalism and advocating for a more cautious approach to social reform. As we reach the end of the Age of Enlightenment, it is clear that this era has left an indelible mark on human history. The thinkers and innovators of this time have laid the groundwork for unprecedented scientific, cultural, and philosophical advancements. But they have also raised profound questions about the nature of human society, morality, and politics. In conclusion, the Age of Enlightenment was a complex and multifaceted era that continues to shape our world today. As we reflect on its achievements and limitations, we are reminded of the power of human reason and intellectual curiosity to transform our understanding of the world and ourselves. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Age of Enlightenment. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.